We have over 100 agents that did $10 million or above, up to 130 million. So 100 of our agents are $10 million producers right off the get-go. And that's not an average, that's the people. If I average everything, the number gets bigger and better, but our top 100 agents are 10 million and above. And that's testament to the company and a testament to the agent base.
It really is. It's the Hall of Fame here, I believe. And what I love about everybody is it is competitive. You wouldn't be in this business if you weren't competitive, but it's not that way. Like everybody's very collaborative because I think of the success that everyone has across the board. Everyone wants to build each other up, share information. I think that's why everyone continues to be successful, honestly. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Uh, no complaints.
Good.
Out of a good year, going into a good year, we hope.
Yeah, that's always the hope, I think. Well, I think that's what we want to talk about today. So, obviously, every year we've done this, I think we kind of look back a year and look ahead a year. Specifically, today we're going to talk about the company and how we did in 24, but the market as well. So, kind of state of the company, state of the market. So, just in general, I guess we'll kick right off. I don't think I need to introduce you, but obviously, this is Larry Rideout. He is the chairman of Gibson, Sotheby's International Realty, and also my father. I thought maybe we would do this one sitting in the same room, but sometimes these are easier.
Yeah.
But can you give us a sense of how you feel 2024 went, kind of from the start?
Sure. If I had to pick a word for 2024, it was unsettling. There was never a moment when everybody said, "Okay, I got it figured out." Obviously the NAR issue was a huge slowdown for everyone to try to figure out well, first what was going to happen when NAR defended itself, and then we ultimately found out that didn't happen so well. So then we went into high gear in terms of educating our company in terms of how we're going to deal with it and how we're going to explain it. And to be honest with you, most of agents have already had that kind of in their minds anyway. We needed to express the effort we put forth with buyers that probably we were skipping over. And now we had the opportunity to do that. And then my leadership team did a phenomenal job. And you could ask any one of our agents, they were blown away by how much they knew when it all happened on August 17th and how many times our competitors didn't know what was going on, and we kind of had to get them through it. So, kudos to the leadership team, kudos to our agents. They put in a lot of hours on Zooms and in personal calls, and you and Daphne after the 17th, when we did the Monday afternoon, like it was almost like live action. What happened this week? What happened this week? Those meetings were so well attended, and we found real stories, and just everybody cleared up a little bit better. So from my perspective, because I look at the numbers, our commission rates really haven't taken the Armageddon hit that all of the subscriptions beat the drum on for 6 months. So a lot of what goes on in real estate is, we're in football season, it's block and tackle. You have to go out there every day and do your job. That's really all it is. All that noise around you, you have to put it away, put it aside, and understand people still need to buy. People still need to sell regardless of what's going on around you. And if you just stay focused on that, as it seems our company did with the numbers that we have, I think we'll all be better for it.
Yeah, it's funny. When I was reviewing for this, the NAR thing is like such a big thing. It is a sense of pride for us from this past year. Just I did those calls on Monday, but the rest of the team, I mean, we have an in-house attorney, Richard and Jeff and Daphne, like they just were so prepared. And I think it proved to me too, that concept of you have to have a plan and you have to prepare. And then once you have a plan and you're prepared, then you can weather anything. And then you just have to wake up and, to your point, do your job every day or do whatever you have to do because you've already prepared. And it was hard for them and it was hard for the agents. And frankly, that end of August date, it made everyone have to push through the summer after the hard markets in the spring. Usually because it's so cyclical, we push hard in the spring. You get a minute to breathe in the summer, you push hard in the fall, you get a minute to breathe in the winter sometimes. And sometimes a minute to breathe is more stressful than anything, but that meant that everybody had to push really hard through this 24 summer to learn all of this, but it came out on top in the fall because they actually did it. So, and the commission rates that we have, it hasn't changed. And so that should, if you're listening to this and you're thinking that there's going to be a change in 25, I think that proves, I mean, it's been about 6 months now. And really that buy side commission is, as long as you're doing it the right way, it's not going down. So it's all just kind of, that's good news on that front.
Transparency is always a good thing, and really it forces us all to be more transparent and show just how hard our associates work, because they do. That we were all glossing over that, and it just needed to be needed. The buyer and the seller need to see exactly what happens in a transaction. So the ultimate ending was good, but getting there was kind of tumultuous.
So I might be naive, but I feel like last January, like this time, was one of the toughest in terms of kicking off 24. Like it was pretty scary at the beginning. And then it kicked right in. How did you feel?
Same way, again, time heals all wounds. When the rates went up so drastically, everybody was frozen in place. Everybody, associates, ownership, buyers, sellers, we all, the rates moved so quickly and so rapidly up that everything froze. But what we've had now is a 12-month perspective on interest rates. I've been around a long time. This is my 40th year this year. And, we've seen rates of every kind. And it's really not comparable. You can say I bought something at 14%, but I paid 50,000 for it. So, it's all relative. But the bottom line is, the reality is that we're probably in a normal market right now. Everyone's minds had to adjust to that. And I really believe 2025 is going to be very good, because everyone understands we're not going to have a 3% interest rate. So if you need to move or want to move, let's move. Let's make it happen. And I think you're going to see a good 25. And I don't want to get into 25 because you want to talk afterwards, but that's kind of my perspective on 25. And 24 was the adjustment period. And again, unsettling, things happening constantly. The Fed was going to lower the rates. They're not going to lower rates. Going to lower the rates, not going to lower the rates. So there was that constant emotion that was being driven out there. And that's not really going to change until the economy weakens so enough that the Fed feels like they can drop the rate. So when you hear me say that, the economy weakens, that's also not a good thing. So right now we have a strong economy, and we have a rate that's probably where a normal rate would be, maybe a little lower. I really think 6.5 is probably a normal rate, or low sixes. But right now it's in the high sixes. But the reality is we're in a normal marketplace, and people had to adjust, and I think they're going to. I think 25 is going to be when it happens. Sorry, I jumped ahead of the 24th.
I'll have to rearrange everything now. No, I wanted to give just kind of dive deeper into our numbers, because even with the tough start, we had yet another really banner year.
Yes.
It's so fun this time of year when everything starts to get buttoned up. I know we saw the rental numbers yesterday, incredible referral numbers posted. Every region really looks like it's up. So it's just fun to see those come in and be able to celebrate, especially with all that we had to deal with last year, even having those victories. So did you want to highlight some just from the top?
Yeah, I would love to, because it was really an exciting year, because it was such a challenging year, and everybody stepped up. My associates our agents are amazing. They're amazing. They're so resilient, and they're so good, and they're so honest, and it all shone through this year, through a tough year. Our numbers, we actually have. I'll just share the company side sales. We are up 17% year over year from 2023 in a tumultuous year. And that tells you that's when the cream rises to the top. That's when people that know what to do and get it done, regardless of the marketplace. Our transactions are up 20%. I've been able to go around. I think we had 5 meetings this week, or about 10 companies that we shared this with, and we're going to do the rest of them next week. And it's just a fun time, because they're all they're wowed by the fact that we're up in every market. I can tell you, just glancing through my regions, we do have 27 offices, and we cover most of Eastern Massachusetts, and obviously we cover Massachusetts, but our offices are located in Eastern Mass. Our Metro West office up 22% year over year. North Shore, which was a new market for us, essentially up 66%. South Shore up 30%. Metro Boston. Oh, Metro Boston. That's a nice story. That's in January we acquired Unlimited Sotheby's in Newton, Jamaica Plain, and Brookline, and they came through in an amazing manner. So they were a great addition for us. And then in January we also acquired Pat Schultz Real Estate down on P-Town, and they added a tremendous amount. We were in P-Town, we're number one anyway, but they just made it like secured it for the next decade, I think, because we just blew away everybody down there. We have an amazing company down there now, and that was a great addition. Let me see what else. Our Boston offices were up. Arlington up 12%. Cambridge up 10%. So everyone outperformed the market considerably. It was exciting. You mentioned our rentals. We had the best rental year we've ever had. And by the way, that's rentals and sales, I think added up to 4,400 transactions, which is amazing. So, it's not pie in the sky things we're saying here. Our agents outperformed the market, and we ended up having a good year. Now, what 2025, I believe, is going to be better than that. And I kind of already talked about it, so I don't want to revisit it.
Yeah. We also had we always have the one of the highest per agent productivity in the state, and then the highest average sales price in the top 10, which is pretty incredible. Obviously in the smaller companies, that's why that gets a little bit higher, but our agents, the amount of agents that we have for the amount of sales volume that we do, it's amazing.
Our like-kind competitors, we're the smallest of all the top, I'd say the top 8 or 10 in terms of agent base, maybe top 8. Definitely, we're number 4 in the state, and the 3 above us are immensely larger than we are, and we're in there with battling them every day in terms of productivity. So that means our agents earn more money than everyone else's agents, and I think that's a piece you can't forget about. And then something I forgot about was our relocation and referral business. We've grown that. You started that program. Now Megan and Amy run it for us, and they've grown it even more to the point where I don't know what the GCI is. I mean, I don't know what the sales volume is, but I know
600 million last year.
600 million. Yeah. So, that's a fairly significant number for referrals. And it's not like we're out courting third party. We're using the Sotheby's International Realty Network to do that.
Yeah.
So it's incredible.
The referral network for our brand, I would go head to head with anyone. I think there's so many, and it's good, but those pay to play networks to try to get those networks built. But the Sotheby's network is what they utilize for that, and it just continues to grow. It's amazing. All the numbers are amazing, but I know the Arlington office. This is just an example of what we're seeing. Like, we're small but mighty, and when you're looking at it relatively. The Arlington office, I believe, and we can take this out if I'm incorrect, but they are the number 1 in Arlington. And if you combine the top 10, the other 9, we still beat them.
Yeah.
That's how powerful we are in most of our markets.
Yeah, I saw that. It's a true number. According to MLS, obviously, because that's the only thing we have access where everybody plays in the same sandbox. Another thing I'm proud of, and I did mention it on social media, just for the aspect of the support that we provide and the brand that we provide, we have over 100 agents that did $10 million or above, up to 130 million. So 100 of our agents are $10 million producers right off the get-go. And that's not an average, that's the people. If I average everything, the number gets bigger and better, but our top 100 agents are 10 million and above. And that's a testament to the company and a testament to the agent base.
It really is. It's the Hall of Fame here, I believe. And what I love about everybody is it is competitive. You wouldn't be in this business if you weren't competitive, but it's not that way. Like, everybody's very collaborative because I think of the success that everyone has across the board. Everyone wants to build each other up, share information. I think that's why everyone continues to be successful, honestly.
I believe that it's still high demand for buyers. Still, there's a lot of buyers out there. And I also believe there's a lot of money out there. There's still, again, that's why the Fed is not dropping the rates, because the economy is still strong. So, I like to look at a glass as half full, not half empty, not, oh my God, the rates aren't going down. They're not going down because the economy is strong. The economy is strong means we have buyers out there that are still looking and still strong and ready to go. And I believe the inventory is going to pick up. We've been doing these meetings and we're hearing a lot of active listings coming on. And I have to think the other companies are having the same effect. So, the more listings that come on, the better for all of us.
Yeah, I think that was my prediction. I don't know if you necessarily agree, but the one thing I keep saying is I believe we're going to have an early and busy spring. I think that with the election, like you said, and the interest rates were going to change, that's what everyone was sort of under that impression in the fall. I think that national average, it was like 80% of buyers were on the sidelines. So like they're gonna come back out, and I think they're gonna come back out early. And like you said, we're hearing so much activity already, people putting things back on the market. But February looks like it's gonna be the start of the spring market, at least in this region.
Definitely. And you keep saying, I don't know if you disagree, but where you're running this show, I'm not going to disagree with you at all.
Well, it's all a guessing game. And so you think rates, well, you thought rates would probably not. I think a lot of people are hanging on to this. The rates are going to drop, the rates are going to drop.
I would love to see the rates in the sixes. I'd say high fives. That's like a reach, I think, but that number would explode the marketplace. So if the incoming president is listening, I'm suggesting to him he might want to try to help us get to the high fives so that we can have a robust real estate market. But the reality is it's going to follow whatever the economy does.
Yeah, I did a little like research poking around yesterday because we had a journalist asking for some stats, and a couple good resources, I would say, suggest if it's gonna hit high fives, it's gonna be end of the year 25. So I actually think that's going to keep it strong throughout. I think the spring is going to be strong. But to your point, it's just going to be steady and it's still going to be competitive. People are saying inventory is going to rise. I think it was like projected nationally like 5 to 8% that sales and inventory might rise, and we're always on the lower end of that. So like perspective on that, if you see a headline that says inventory is going to rise, or whatever, demand is still there and we need a lot more inventory than 5 to 8%. So I think, like your point, to not get too excited. It's going to be steady year, but you still need good representation, obviously, like you always would, but you need a good plan. And don't sit on the sidelines and wait for rates to drop or whatever it's going to look like. And most people say if the lowest we're going to see is going to be end of 25.
And don't be consumed by the real estate subscriptions. They're trying to get clicks. They're trying to get, everything's Armageddon. They're only going to talk about the worst things that can happen. And you get stuck. And I'm probably guilty of it because I sit every morning and read all the periodicals and I look at my numbers, but I'm not consumed by it. I read it and you just have to think to yourself, how is my market affected? Because all real estate is local. And if you're doing your job and you have your sphere of influence, people are going to rely on you when they want to listen. So you need to be in contact. It's communicate. It's block and tack. Same thing.
Anything else that you think we'll see in 25? I don't think I really had anything else to add.
No, we have to watch all the lawsuit kind of scenarios. Once that NAR thing happened, that looks like a free ride for some litigation attorneys. So you don't know what is cooking out there. But again, let's stay focused on the job. You're not going to go to court and defend this. So forget about it until somebody tells you that you have to do something different. And if they do, like they did last year, your company should take over and take control and be able to explain that. If they're not doing that, then you need to find a company that does that for you.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. Last year definitely exposed some people that didn't feel like getting out ahead of what was going on. 24 was, despite the start of it, a really strong year. Like you said, it was unsettling, but we all came together and got through, and I think we came out stronger. And I think that 25, to your point, I think 24 sort of set us up for, we know what to expect here. There's no shock. We've dealt with these interest rates. We've already been here. They're not really going to change. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. And I think it's going to be another strong year.
I do too. I look forward to talking to you this time next year and talking about how wonderful it was.
I know, me too. Maybe we'll do some micro market stuff in between.
All right.
Dive in deeper. All right. Well, thank you.
It's the only way I get to see my daughters, just so you know. We see each other on Zoom.
Yeah, right. This is how we do our catch up. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.